What is up, everybody? Thank you all so much for tuning into this live stream segment of Mikasa Sukasa. And of course, as always, I'm your humble house, Niko House. We have a pretty exciting show today. I want to go ahead and get into it. So let's get started. So there has been a lot of speculation surrounding Hillary Clinton. She's made some appearances recently. She went on The View. She went on The Late Show with Stephen Colbert. And I believe she's supposed to be making a few more appearances. I think she's supposed to go on CBS. I think she was on Good Morning America as well. And a lot of people have been speculating as to what this means. Now, for the most part, it seems that the general consensus is that Hillary Clinton is running for president again eventually. And it's not like... it's not all that crazy to believe that, right? And I'm explaining to you why. A lot of people on the left and the right have predicted that this might be the case. And with the recent handling of that question by Elizabeth Warren, because there's also been speculation, by the way, that she's running to be a vice president so that she could then be pardoned by whoever the president is. And with Elizabeth Warren's statement the other day when asked, well, if you were president, would you allow your vice president's child to serve on an energy board or another board of a major nation? And at first, Elizabeth Warren said, oh, no, I absolutely wouldn't. But then she backtracked and she said, oh, I will have to look into it. I'll have to look into that. And then, like, it was really weird because even for, like, let's just say, like, even if you were going to lie about it, like, or even if you were going to do it, like, usually you would just lie about it. Like, why would you backtrack right then and there unless you were worried, like unless this is something that was at the forefront of your mind and you were reminded, like, oh, snaps, I can't say that because somebody that potentially could be my vice president has a child, cough, Chelsea Clinton, who may want to sit on a couple of boards on foreign companies. So there is reason to believe that Hillary Clinton is trying to stay in the spotlight so that she can end up in the Oval Office one way or the other. So despite that, I don't think that getting in the Oval Office is like the main reason she's started making her rounds in the media again. Like, I think that her quote unquote getting in the Oval Office, once again, she doesn't have to be the president to get in the Oval Office. She could be the vice president. Her getting into that Oval Office is more of a defense mechanism, in my humble opinion. And I'm explaining to you why. There's a story that released the other day that a lot of people have not talked about, have not focused on. Coincidentally enough, around the time all this transcript stuff comes out, it's big news, right? Because Nancy Pelosi finally is okay with impeachment, and we talk about impeachment and Trump and his transcripts and Ukraine, and all this other information just starts blowing up, and then Hillary Clinton starts making her rounds. Now, if any of you you know how the story goes, right? When it comes to the media, whenever the media tells you to look left, you better start looking right, because that's the story that you're probably missing. And this is one of them. The Trump administration intensifies Hillary Clinton's email probe. This isn't from 2017. This isn't from 2018. This is from September 20th, 9:51 a.m. 2 days ago. September 30th, 9:51 a.m. 2 days ago. Now, what this article says is that the Trump administration is investigating email records of dozens of current and former senior State Department officials who sent messages to then Secretary Hillary Clinton's private email, reviving a politically toxic matter that overshadowed the 2016 election. current and former officials said. As many as 130 officials have been contacted in recent weeks by the State Department investigators. A list that includes senior officials who reported directly to Clinton, as well as others in low-level jobs whose emails were at some point relayed to her inbox, said current and former State Department officials. Those targeted were notified that the emails they sent years ago have been retroactively classified and now constitute potential security violations, according to letters reviewed by the Washington Post. In virtually all these cases, potentially sensitive information now recategorized as classified was sent to Clinton's unsecure inbox. Now I want to make a note there because this is clearly, I think this is what, USA Today or Washington Post? This is Washington Post. So let me go ahead and make a note here. Side note. Not virtually all the cases. There were a lot of letters or a lot of emails that were reclassified, but there were a lot of emails that were top secret off rip. Like from the very beginning, they were top secret. So I just wanted to make that note. Now, State Department investigators began contacting officials about 18 months ago. So if anyone tries to claim that this is some type of, reprimand of Hillary because she decided to jump back in the spotlight, this is Trump trying to retaliate and distract from the Ukraine conflict. No. This was started 18 months ago. And it says it was after the election and then seemed to drop off before picking up again in August. Senior State Department officials also said that they are following standard protocol in an investigation that began during the latter days of the Obama administration and is nearing its completion. Nearing its completion. And they said this is nothing to do with who is in the White House, which is why they're saying this is literally an investigation that was opened during the Obama administration and it's carried over into this one. It said a senior State Department official. So this has nothing to do with who's in the White House, who spoke on the condition of anonymity because they were not authorized to speak publicly about the ongoing probe. This is about the time it took to go through millions of emails, which is about 3.5 years. Now, this comes out about 2 days ago that the probe is coming to its conclusion, which is interesting, right? Because that's around the same exact time that Hillary Clinton decides she wants to go ahead and start making her rounds. About 2 or 3 days ago is when all these calls for impeachment start intensifying. The Ukrainian conversation becomes, a public one, despite the fact that the investigation into Biden's involvement with the Ukraine and Hunter Biden's involvement with the Ukraine started months and months ago. Around March is when it intensified. And they actually tried to conduct the investigation earlier. However, the old Ukrainian government, favorable to the Clinton, I'll call it the Clinton administration because Obama wasn't in control of a damn thing, but they were in control, and so they were not being cooperative with this administration. And Rod Rosenstein, come on, and Jeff Sessions, come on, two of Clinton's faves, they weren't doing a good enough job pursuing the issue. So if anybody tried to say that Trump is trying to, just I'm gonna target Biden because he's my biggest threat. Seriously doubt that Trump considers Biden a threat. Not even joking. The reason why is because really anybody paying close enough attention knows that Biden isn't a threat to anybody to win this particular election. So once again, you've had all these legitimate reasons to go after Trump, whether it be financing the war in Yemen through Saudi Arabia, whether it be dropping bombs illegally on Syria. I mean, there are so many reasons. The emoluments clause, so many legitimate reasons. But then you'd have to actually, this is why it's an impeachment inquiry, people. Impeachment inquiry does not require Donald Trump to testify with the microphone and a transcript in front of literally everybody. There's a reason for that. If Trump testifies in front of everybody, then the entire story will drop. So, once again, the Clinton email probe story, this is by the Washington Post 2 days ago. It's about to come to an end. Of course, Hillary Clinton still has people in the FBI. Of course. And of course, they probably let her know, hey, you need to get up. You need to do something because you're about to go to jail, woman. Potentially. So now all of a sudden we want transcripts. This is random whistleblower that now everybody loves whistleblowers. Fuck Julian Assange, right? Fuck Chelsea Manning, right? Fuck Edward Snowden, right? We all love whistleblowers now. I'm telling you something, people. Whistleblowers do not go back to the CIA. Whistleblowers are not unanimously fawned over in the media. Whistleblowers get stuck in Russia, like Edward Snowden and Susie Dawson. Whistleblowers end up in the UK's version of Guantanamo Bay, like Julian Assange. Whistleblowers end up having their rights suspended, having due process taken away from them, and being put in jail and fined every single day, like Chelsea Manning. That is a whistleblower. Whistleblowers don't get love from the US government, nor do they get love from the Western media. So all of a sudden, all this information comes out. And you would think that it's somewhat, some people would leave it, right, at Biden. A lot of people would leave it at Biden. Because after all, it's Biden's son. He was a vice president. A lot of people, for whatever reason, believe that the vice president has more power, more influence than a secretary of state, which is not true. Secretary of state is the most powerful, second most powerful position in the world. On top of that, and Obama wasn't even the most powerful person in his administration. It was Hillary. So if you think that Biden has the clout to do what he did with Hunter Biden by himself, well, ladies and gentlemen, I might need you to think again. But before we even get into that part, here's another reason why Hillary Clinton might be a little bit more worried than she let on. FBI's top attorney, this is according to The Hill, believed that Hillary Clinton should face charges, but they were talked out of it. For the past 3 years, the FBI tried to portray its top leadership in the as united behind ex-director James Comey's decision not to pursue criminal charges against Hillary Clinton for transmitting classified information over an insecure private server in her bathroom. I wish that part would be mentioned more often, but it was in her bathroom. We should always remember it was in her bathroom. And she was told not to do it, and she ignored them. Although, in the end, that may have been the case, we now are learning that Comey's top lawyer, then FBI General Counsel James Baker, initially believed Clinton deserved to face criminal charges, but was talked out of it, quote unquote, pretty late in the process. The revelation is contained in testimony Baker gave to the White House investigators last year. His testimony has not been publicly released, but I was permitted to review a transcript. This is the author of this article. During the questioning, Representative John Ratcliffe, Republican from Texas, Baker was unequivocal about his early view on that Clinton should face criminal charges. This is Baker's quote. Okay, this is Baker, appointed during the Obama administration, working under James Comey, who was clearly favorable towards Hillary. Okay, this is what he had to say. I have reason to believe that you originally believed it was appropriate, or excuse me, this is the question, and then he gives the answer. But he said, I have reason to believe that you thought that it was originally appropriate to charge Hillary Clinton regarding the violations of law, various laws, with regard to mishandling classified information. Is that accurate? Ratcliffe, a former prosecutor, asked Baker. And Baker, the general counsel, former general counsel to James Comey, had this to say. Yes. Yes, that's what he had to say. It wasn't a very, like I said, he couldn't talk too much about it. But if the lawyer, remember what Comey said, He didn't say that Hillary Clinton wasn't guilty. That's not what he said. He said, well, guys, she didn't mean to break the law. Which, by the way, don't you find that a little ironic, considering there were probably a number of people that are in jail right now as a result of Hillary Clinton's husband's crime bill who were probably a little bit ignorant of the law and therefore are still in jail because of that. But hey, if you didn't know about the law, you didn't mean to break the law, apparently now ignorance of the law is an excuse to break the law. So hey everybody, if you didn't know you were speeding, you make sure to tell that cop that James Comey said ignorance of the law means you cannot break a law. That's what James Comey said. I'm just a YouTuber, okay? He was a former FBI director. So, not only is this probe been reopened, okay, but this type of information has been being leaked out the whole last year or so. And everybody, it's been relatively innocuous. People haven't talked about it, reported on it. Maybe on the right, not as much on the left, especially given the election is in full swing. So like, when you combine all those facts with the fact that we found out that an actual attorney who was advising James Comey literally said, I mean, she should have been prosecuted. At the very, very, very end, he was like, nah, yeah, I bet. Hillary Clinton had that effect on people. But it gets worse. A lot of people would disconnect and probably did not connect Hillary Clinton, this whole impeachment thing, Donald Trump, Ukraine, and Biden's son. A lot of people would probably disconnect that. A few things about that situation. This investigation into the Ukraine started over a year and some change ago. The last government, the last administration in the Ukraine was basically put in place by Hillary Clinton and the Clinton Foundation and Bill Clinton and all that nonsense. So they were non-responsive, not being cooperative. So they had to wait until this new president, who is a little bit more populist, not friends with the establishment of the Ukraine. He literally is an actor who used to play a president and then ran for president and won. It's hilarious. I'm not gonna lie to you. But that's why this investigation into the Ukraine situation couldn't be pursued. If you think it had anything to do with the fact that Biden is running for president, then you would be wrong. And let's be very clear about something. They literally started, and it doesn't matter if you don't like Trump, because I despise the man. But this investigation into Russiagate and all that good stuff literally started as a political move. This inquiry, this impeachment, they're like, how dare Trump try to use this Ukraine scandal with Biden's son for political gain? So you know what we're going to do? We're going to use this to start an inquiry in the middle of election season. And it's definitely not for political gain, by the way. Even though we've been literally screaming out impeachment since 2016, totally not for political gain. And ignore all the other stuff we could have impeached him for, but decided not to. Ignore that stuff, okay? Let's focus on the totally not political impeachment inquiry that's not going to lead anywhere but will distract the entire world, and it's meant to manufacture consent for impeachment so you can have Mike Pence in. That way they can run whoever the hell they want to. Mike Pence, not really a beatable, not really, the most charismatic Republican out there, if you catch my drift. His own damn Indiana really didn't even like him that much, okay? So they know that. They know that Pence is more beatable than Donald Trump is. And they're pretending like Trump started this investigation because of Biden running, except for the fact that it's not. That's not the truth. It doesn't matter if you like the truth or not. It doesn't matter if you like the facts or not. It's not the truth. The investigation started over a year and some change ago. Okay? So let's go ahead and clear that up. It re-intensified in March. And I knew at the time that it couldn't be a coincidence. Whenever it started, 3, 4 days, I'm like, this can't be a coincidence. Why is Hillary coming back out at the same time this investigation is wrapping up? And then, of course, what are all the talking points about? What are the talking points about? Ukraine, Donald Trump, his mental health. We have to impeach him. Oh, but my emails. Her trying to trivialize the email situation. Even Kamala Harris made a tweet about it. She said Hillary Clinton served our country with distinction and always put our country first. Something Trump knows nothing about. And then, of course, Hillary Clinton had to put "but my emails," quote unquote. Thank you. So this is her trying to trivialize an open investigation because she knows it implicates her. She could actually be found guilty this time. And William Barr is not Jeff Sessions or Rod Rosenstein. William Barr seems like he is here for all the smoke. He's like, if you want to be petty, I'll be petty right along with you. We can play the game. So here's where it gets interesting. Did y'all know Hillary Clinton was actually in the State Department when all this stuff went down with Biden's son? Did y'all know that? 2009 to 2014. You think that Biden got on that board, that Hunter Biden got on that board all by himself, all by his lonesome? Biden has never had those types of connections until he kind of got some of them as VP. But that's not a Biden power move, is it? Victor Pinchuk, a billionaire, has a pipe company, investor, of course, right? They're all investors. They're all bankers and investors. Ukrainian, was on the Ukrainian parliament, and is also part of the Atlantic Council. This is the same man who likes to donate a lot of money to the Clinton Foundation. In fact, Victor Pinchuk donated about $25 million to the Clintons, and he is also a board member of the Atlantic Council. The Atlantic Council is partnered with the Ukrainian natural gas company Burisma. That company that has a board that Hunter Biden sat on. That's pretty coincidental. Right? That's got to be a coincidence. I'm going to repeat that for you. Victor Pinchuk, Ukrainian oligarch, sitting on the parliament, at one point sitting on the parliament of the Ukraine, was elected to parliament of the Ukraine, who also is a member of the Atlantic Council, donated $25 million to the Clintons. He's a board member of the Atlantic Council. The Atlantic Council has a partnership with the Ukrainian natural gas company Burisma Group, the same Burisma Group that Hunter Biden sat on the board of. In other words, ladies and gentlemen, not only is Hillary Clinton's email probe catching up with her, but she's getting hit from both sides. This Ukrainian investigation that would seemingly target Biden, right? Because that's probably what everybody's thinking. It would target Biden. This is all about Biden. And that's the easiest place to look. It's the easiest thing to think about. Damn the fact that this investigation is actually old. Damn the fact that Biden is actually guilty. Like, he's guilty. I don't know what else we could say about that. He is guilty. What he did was unethical. He actually threatened to withhold funds and interfere with somebody else's government. But Hillary Clinton, while in charge of the State Department, is directly connected to the man that could have put Hunter Biden on the board of the natural gas company. And of course, if you're looking, mind you, there is also an ongoing investigation into the Clinton Foundation that we found out about back in February of 2018, if I recall correctly. And it turned out Jeff Sessions had been blocking that from furthering. It turned out also, as we found on the OIG report from the FBI, that Obama had told Comey not to make it public that the Clinton Foundation was being investigated during the election but let's publicize Russiagate. So if you think Hillary Clinton is just here coincidentally to run for office, no. She's here to save her ass. You think this impeachment? This impeachment. Think, bro. Nancy Pelosi's like, no, not impeachment. This is stupid. Even Nancy Pelosi knew it was stupid because she knows, like, bro, we're going to expose ourselves if we try to impeach. You know that. We're not going to win this battle. There's no victory for us here. Hillary Clinton hits this trail all of a sudden within a day. Nancy Pelosi's like, okay, well, the ball's called. Impeachment is on. At least an inquiry. No such thing as a coincidence in politics, people. At all. Hillary Clinton. You know what they always say about impeachment? The walls are closing in. Yeah, the walls have been closing in on Trump for like 9 years now. They're not going to impeach him. Because the only way you can impeach him would be on the legitimate things that 90% of Congress is guilty of, especially the leaders calling for impeachment. They're not going to get him on the emolument clause because then you got to look into Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer's records. They're not doing that. So they're going to go after things that they know won't amount to anything. And then I'm going to go after an impeachment. It's supposed to be an inquiry. But instead, they're doing an impeachment inquiry because, once again, if you missed at the beginning of the show, I told you, an impeachment inquiry does not require Trump to stand in front of the camera and blabber off at the mouth. An impeachment does, not an inquiry. If an impeachment is conducted, then, ladies and gentlemen, all of a sudden, Trump becomes a motor mouth in front of the entire world, and every single Democrat who has been involved in any of this type of corruption, every single Democrat implicated in this issue with the Ukraine, every single Democrat involved in any of this will get put on blast. And that's why they won't do the impeachment. You have the numbers, at least in the House. So why not just do an official impeachment and conduct the damn investigation instead of wasting our time with an inquiry? Why pretend like you like whistleblowers now while we have Chelsea Manning in jail, Nancy Pelosi, and unfortunately even Bernie, by the way, get better Bernie and others are ignoring Chelsea Manning while celebrating this whistleblower who was invited right back to the FBI, or excuse me, the CIA. Whistleblowers don't get invited back to the CIA. They leave the country because they know they're going to be in jail and treated like Chelsea Manning or treated like Julian Assange. So, if you want to dislike Trump, that's fine. I don't like him either. That's why I want Tulsi to win. But let's not let Trump derangement syndrome cloud the facts. And the facts are right there in front of us. Hillary Clinton making her appearance again is not random at all. This investigation into the Ukraine did not start 3 or 4 days ago. It's been ongoing for a couple of years. The email probe never shut down, but it is about to come to an end, and it was announced on September 30th that it's about to come to an end. There's obviously a lot of legitimate critiques about Trump, but trying to claim that he started this investigation specifically to go after Biden because he's a political opponent is not a legitimate critiquer at this point, because this investigation had been started. Just saying. Now, if he all of a sudden started going after like Bernie, then we got an issue, right? If he tried to all of a sudden start investigating Tulsi for going to Syria, then we have an issue. If he all of a sudden started investigating Kamala's connections even to a mansion, for example, like all this, because it's one thing if the investigation started 2 years ago before you knew she was running. If you just start the investigation, don't get me wrong, she should be prosecuted over that Joe Manchin shit and failing to prosecute those banks. But they didn't. And so Trump should not be allowed to all of a sudden launch an investigation in the middle of an election. That is unethical. However, an investigation starting years ago has nothing to do with an election that is ongoing today. It's not fair, especially for the Clinton probe, because it's ongoing. No such thing as coincidence in politics. So, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all so much for tuning into this live stream segment of Mikasa Says Sukasa. I'm pretty sure that we have a lot of Clinton news coming up because she just will not stop talking. And every time Clinton talks, she puts her foot in her mouth. So that's going to be fun. I miss telling her how ridiculous she is, to be honest with you. Other than that, people, always remember more than anything else. Find your balance. Peace. Hey, don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you like that segment of Mikasa Says Sukasa. Also, you can help us upgrade the studio and take this show on the road to cover the on-the-ground politics that you love by clicking on that GoFundMe link in the description and donating literally anything. Anything helps. Also, you can follow us on Rockfin, on Twitter, and on Facebook as well. And hey, more than anything else, people, always remember, find your balance. Peace.